Welcome to Peter and Ruffy's Football Show. We're live on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel. You can hit the subscribe button. We'd be delighted if you could join the football family. And if you hit the bell as well, you'll get all the notifications of when we are live. It's our last show of 2021 as we get ready for the festivities of Christmas. And of course, this shutdown, it happens after Boxing Day fixtures on Sunday. Scottish football and the Premiership will close down. The lower leagues will continue, but with this COVID problem that continues, one wonders if some of those games will fall foul of indeed COVID and players being lost to their sides. So it's an interesting one. You can give us your thoughts on it. We'll also look back at last night's games. 3 games in which there were a few shock results along the way. I'm delighted to say my old mucker, the main man, Ruffy, is with me. Ruffy, 3 games to talk about from last night as well. First and foremost, full marks to St Mirren. Everybody thought it was going to be an absolute hammering. It didn't turn out that way. Jim Goodwin's boys absolutely battled for him.
Yeah, you have to congratulate St Mirren. It's not the first time it's happened to them this year. I think they were the first team to fall foul of the COVID and had to experience what had to be done. And again, it's came back to them again. But no, you're right. They used every resource that they had, and the players that took the part, particularly the young players that took the part, did particularly well.
Yeah, I mean, it was a backs to the wall at times. I mean, I know you like your stat on possession. It was up in the 80s for Celtic in that match, but it didn't make any difference.
No, it didn't. You know, that you need goal scorers to win games. You can have all the possession in the world. You can look good in certain parts of the park, but at the end of the day, it's putting the ball in the back of the net. And at this moment in time, Celtic didn't have anybody last night to do that. They would have maybe taken one and that to won the game, but they didn't have the ability to get that one. So, you know, I think all the praise has to go to St Mirren.
Yeah, absolutely. I watched the whole 90 minutes of the game. And of course, you know, from your own point of view, you're a goalie. Dean Linus, what a performance he put in.
Yeah, unbelievable, you know, to be out of the game for 14 months and then come in, you know, and put in that kind of performance. A lot of pressure on him, you know, but he got his eye in pretty early, and everything that came his way, he dealt with it confidently, and well done to him. You know, that it's great if you're a part of a team and you've got goalkeepers who can take over at such short notice and put in that level of performance.
Yeah, the other thing about it, Ruffy, which you know, I think St Mirren deserve tremendous credit for, is apart from obviously people suggesting they were going to make wholesale changes, they made 4 changes to the team that drew 1-1 with Hibs. They hadn't played in 11 days. There was all sorts of concerns. I mean, Jim Goodwin after the match said, you know, they need to look at, the SPFL needs to look at this situation. Changes need to be made, but they were calling for this game to be called off in the afternoon as well. They didn't get their wish. And then they had to call a few players back to play, you know, to sit on the bench. Some of them didn't get on, but he asked a lot of his 11 players in the end. I wonder if this could have been handled better.
I think a lot of the clubs think that, Peter. You know, I think a lot of them, you know, think they're being treated harshly more than some of the other teams in the league, and I put St Mirren in that category. As I said earlier, they're one of the ones that fell really early to the criteria, but I think now most of the clubs now are having to realise the responsibility now to their players and their staff, and I think a lot of them, well, we know that 10 of them definitely, you know, want to protect their players.
Yeah, well, listen, full marks to St Mirren. Ruffy, I've got to read out a few of the messages coming in, basically because yesterday when Tam and I were on, we were wondering whether anybody was going to make a real move to try and change their prediction in the predictor, because we're thinking how many St Mirren players are out. We were thinking 8-0. Sir Walter is a guy who follows us regularly on our YouTube, and he goes 8-0, Pedro. We were laughing our heads off at the possibility of Celtic having a goal fest. We've complimented St Mirren. I thought they played, you know, a game plan right to the letter, is exactly what Jim Goodwin wanted. They ventured up into Celtic's half very rarely in the game, but the goalkeeper, the back 4, that middle 5 just absolutely did their job. As far as Celtic are concerned though, Ruffy, you know, it's come back to bite them. I mean, a number of Celtic fans were mentioning on Twitter that this was a result waiting to happen because, quite simply, he didn't have strikers, or he didn't want to use Kyogo and didn't have strikers available that could get him the goals that he craved?
No, I think the evidence was there before the League Cup final. Most of the games they'd played before that were 1-0 games. Yeah, you'll take the 1-0s, but the evidence was there that with a proven goal scorer not playing, with Kyogo not playing in any of these games, one goal was enough to win the games for him. And as I said, even at the cup final there, if you took him out of the equation, with his 2 goals, you then start to think, how many chances did Celtic really have over the 90 minutes? And there wasn't that many. So, yeah, last night might have been ready and waiting to happen because, as you said there, St Mirren just dug in there and got the result that they wanted.
A lot of people commenting on it with regards to the result. Hi to Stuart Ramsey as well, who always likes to follow the show. A lot of people, Niall Kane as well. And this one from Michael Climby says, good afternoon, guys. I finally managed to get to see a live show instead of watching you on repeat at 9 o'clock the following day. Well, that tells me, Michael, that you might be actually at this point on holiday now, so you're not having to work, which is good. A lot of people will be taking a rest, and a well-earned one at that. And thanks to countless people who are complimenting St Mirren. A lot of people not happy with the overall game itself and how it played out. But it's not for St Mirren to have a go. They've got a number of players who are not up to the same quality as Celtic. It's up to Celtic to try and break them down. They weren't able to do that, and that in itself opens it up nicely to the point that, quite simply, Rangers were watching on, Rangers fans would have been watching on, Ruffy, and saying, well, wait a minute, it's 2 points dropped and Rangers have a 6-point advantage with only one more game before the break.
Yeah, it means the next Rangers Celtic game is massive. I mean they're always massive, but Rangers will be into that game. We don't know what's going to happen at the weekend, obviously, with the games that are on there, but they'll be really looking to take something out of that game at Parkhead and extend that lead. So, it's a big one for both clubs, and we don't know when it's going to happen, obviously, but I'm sure both teams will be hoping that they have their full complement of players available for that game, because it's going to be really important now.
Yeah, just picking up on that point. I mean, that's the key here, Ruffy, because, it's going to be played in the start of February. It's been moved. Whether there will be fans in is another thing which is open to debate. Rangers could have players away in international duty. Just how many could actually prompt them to call for a cancellation and a rearrangement of the fixture as well. That's another little, something thrown into the melting pot. But over and above that, the SPFL and Neil Doncaster says he's hopeful that capacity crowds can return to matches after this 3-week cap on attendances. I think a number of people actually have come out. Managers, I read John Hughes commenting that he thinks that this cap will still be in place when we get back to playing football, Ruffy, and that would be a huge blow to the supporters.
Yeah, it certainly will, but I think the main reason that the government are trying this, they're trying to nip it in the bud as quickly as possible. They're obviously hoping that the 3 or 4 weeks, the figures might be better, they might be healthier. I think we all hope they're going to be healthier then, and then to look at it again. But if we have to look at it again, and it does mean, that the restrictions are still there, it means the pandemic's still there, it means there's still people suffering from it. So we have to go along with everything that the health people say, and football again unfortunately takes the back burner.
Yeah, absolutely, and we're not going to speculate, Ruffy, on the severity of the Omicron virus, because you and I are not doctors. We're just basically relaying to everyone what's happening if you don't get double jabbed, if you don't get your booster, if you don't have your vaccination passport. It's going to be very difficult to get into football matches, Ruffy.
Yeah, it certainly is, but I think it's sunk in now to everybody, surely. If you want to attend the live events and go to football, these are the criteria, and I'm sure you've had enough time to get it done if you want to get it done, and that's the way ahead. And I think it's more important now that we don't know what's going to happen in 3 or 4 weeks, so you've got that time to get it sorted out.
What's your gut feeling?
I'm only going by, what they're saying is there's a peak to this, and they're saying, if we can curtail it, and do the things that they're doing just now, we've got a chance. I think from the supporters' point of view, I really do hope it works. we've all been at games with like 500 at it. We've been at games with nobody at it. It's a sole view. The viewing isn't good. The football isn't good. There's no atmosphere. We need the supporters in there, so we should be doing everything in our power to make sure when they do look at it again that the supporters can get back in and we can get back to where we have been for the past 3 or 4 months.
Okay, that's the result that we were talking about there, which was quite simply St Mirren 0, Celtic 0, and St Mirren getting all the plaudits, and rightly so, for their performance. In the other matches last night, Ruffy, what a result for Ross County, 2-1, and they missed a penalty. And if you look back at Malky Mackay and what he's done for Ross County, since the 27th of October, Ruffy, it's 4 wins, 3 draws. The only defeats they've had have been against Rangers and Celtic, and I mean it's been absolutely magnificent.
Yeah, there was a time before they went on that run when they were continually getting beaten. Malky would come out and do his press conference, and it was getting a bit repetitive. We are a good side. We're not far away from getting it right. Just stick with us. Players will come good, and that was what his after-match reports were about for a long, long time. But lo and behold, everything he has said in these match reports have come true. They are beginning to pick up points. The players are playing to his system, and they're getting results, and they're moving away from the bottom of that league, which is the most important thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Roy McGregor will give him money to strengthen again in January. But over and above that, Rocky, I did say to you, I didn't think they were going to be a team that was going to be relegated. I thought they played good football. They just needed a bit of rub of the green. Some of their loan signings have really done well for them. Of course, there was a lovely goal from Charles Cook last night. Ross Callaghan, who came from Hamilton Accies. Jace has just sent us a message, Ruffy. He says, what are the chances of Ruffy saying that Ross County deserved their points last night? That would be an excellent Christmas present to hear him say that. Peter, please ask him. Ruffy, pay them a bit of credit, will you?
Yeah, more. I mean, although I hold my hands up and say I said they would get relegated, but what the stats that you've just thrown out there that Malky has done in these games is tremendous, and well done to them. That they deserve it for the way they're playing. They aren't a team who come and sit in, and Malky's always said that. If we think we're going to win the game, we're going to pick a team to win it, and that's what they've done. And that's a crucial win last night against a team who are just going nowhere just now.
Yeah, was that difficult for you, Ruffy? Did you find that tough there? Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Well done, Ruffy. Listen, you mentioned St Johnstone. Wow, I mean, since winning the double, it's just it seems like free fall for them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it certainly does. Nothing happening. I think every football team's been in this position, but in the stats with St Johnstone winning the 2 cups, and it's just something you could, at the beginning of the season, nobody could have told where they are at this precise moment in time. Yeah, they've lost 2 or 3 players, 2 or 3 good players, but I still think they were good enough to maybe be 6th, 7th in the league. But he's got a massive job in his hands now, and it'll be very, very interesting to see what he's going to do in January, because they really need some kind of injection somewhere.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you make of your old side, the High Bees? Great start for Sean Maloney.
Yeah, it's a fantastic start for the players. After coming off the back of a defeat in a cup, it's a horrible feeling in your gut for about 2 or 3 days. They've had to put that to the side and come out and play against a team who was on form there. They've got the result. Not a great performance, but I looked at the team lines, and he went with basically the same 11. That played against Celtic, so he had a lot of faith in what he saw at the weekend, and quite rightly so. So no, they got the result, and it's something that they can build on, and it just banishes everything that happened at the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, one man never too far away. He's never too far away from the headlines, Ruffy, is Ryan Porteous. He scores the winning goal, but there's a wee suggestion of a wee kick out in a clash in the middle of the park. I don't think too many Dons fans were happy with him as well. He always seems to get involved in things that, verge on possibly innocent, but then you wonder, has he had a wee kick at the Aberdeen player?
No, I think a lot of teams have players like him. And the fans, I know you don't want to see anybody walking about kicking people and things like that, but the fans need a hard man. They need somebody they can look at and go, he's not going to be messed about, and if he's not going to get messed about, our team's not going to get messed about. I look at Scott Brown at Celtic, and Scott was never ever messed about. And I think the players ran about him when they saw him putting his foot in a 50-50 or a challenge. I think the whole team responds. We don't want it to be yellow card, red cards, but you certainly want a bit of steel in your team. And they don't do that in midfield, with Scott Allen and that. So somebody maybe has to take it upon themselves to be that hard man in the team.
Did you think he had a kick out?
Yeah.
So did I. I thought he was lucky to get away with it.
Yeah, they were seeing kicks like that, and again, it's the referee. If he doesn't see it, he can't give it. But you are treading a line. But you just, you're letting your team down if you get sent off. That's the bottom line, and it's happened to him on 2 occasions that I can think of. So he wouldn't want to be taking any more red cards, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, I think it would be good if we could start talking about him in a positive sense regularly, about what he's doing, scoring goals, making legitimate tackles and not getting involved in any nonsense. But there's an element to him that some players would probably say you don't want to take that out of him. You can give us your views on Ryan Porteous. I, for one, think he's a good player with a lot of potential, but it's just that little element that he seems to want to get involved in, stupidity. Only time will tell. A couple of bits of news I want to get your thoughts on, Ruffy, as well. Celtic have appointed Michael Nicholson as the permanent chief executive. I think Ange Postecoglou has really appreciated the backing that he's given. And of course, he seems to have, made that smooth transition from Peter Lawwell, Dominic Mackay, and now to himself just getting in there and trying to steady the ship. And there's been a few things that he's had to deal with. Of course, the Bernard Higgins thing has been one of the major ones.
Yeah, I don't think people realise what actually goes on behind the scenes, and the people who have got appointments at clubs, how much work they do behind the scenes. And his liaison with the manager will be a big one. We all saw with Peter Lawwell, who's very, very hands-on in everything he did, signings and everything. He was close to all the managers. And I think it's important that he takes more than an active part, in everything that the new manager wants to do. And it looks as if he's going to be that kind of guy.
Yeah, Ruffy, one more set of games, and then, would you believe it, we will, I think we'll be heading, Ruffy, into 2022, wondering when this is all going to end. Of course, it'll be our 10th year, Ruffy. 10 years together is just incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is incredible, and if I've got to sit in this room for another year, I'll be pulling my hair out. I can't, I just stunk in there, sitting here, that we did it for a whole year.
Oh.
Just no meeting, and then we go in and we're all sitting on the couch and having a laugh and a carry on, and it just makes it so much better. So yeah, for us as well, let's hope it clears up and we can get back to where we were.
Yeah, and of course, I just think the saddest way to finish 2021 is a group of fixtures that we now know will be the last games for the Scottish Premiership, and only 500 fans available for that. So everybody's had a real kick in the teeth. You've got Rangers in their game, Motherwell Livingston, Hearts Ross County, Dundee United Hibs, Aberdeen Dundee, and St Johnstone against Celtic, all with just 500 supporters in there. We're heading back to this point where we hope it doesn't happen in January and February, where we could have no fans.
No, I think we'll be very fortunate in the last 2 or 3 months when we've had full capacity. And I mean the smaller clubs as well, although it's a smaller capacity, it's large for them, 3,000, 4,000, whatever. And it makes a big difference to the game, Peter, when you're sitting there and it just can't get you off your seat. There's no atmosphere, and it just shows you that the fans do make the atmosphere, good or bad, but they make a good game, and they make a bad game a good game, put it that way, and I think that's why it's important that we try and do everything in our power to make sure that they can get back in, because you've got to think for their side of it as well. It's life and blood for them, and it's been taken away from them as well.
Yeah, just before we go, Ruffy, are you going to change your mind as we head into 2022? I picked Rangers to win the league. I'm going to stick by that. At the bottom end of it, we'll reach that halfway point. At the bottom end, I still think Livingston will go. And I think it could be it could be St Johnstone in the playoffs. Although I think I picked Motherwell at the start to be in the playoffs, but how wrong have I been with them?
No, well, I took Livingston and Ross County and Rangers to win the league. Really interested in January, what kind of movements there is in the clubs. I think Dundee are now becoming into that category. Obviously, they are not at full strength as well. So you have to think that St Johnstone are going to pick themselves up. But I think it's going to be a long season for the teams down the bottom. And unfortunately, I forget the chap's name, but I think Ross County will be drawn back in there.
Yeah, Jace will not be happy that you've done that, Ruffy. I cannot believe you. Listen, there's a couple of things I want to mention as well. We'll be giving away lots more prizes in 2022, and we're building, of course, a great audience on our YouTube channel. You know, people watch it live, and we are very grateful to you for that. Lots of people actually download the PLZ Soccer app on their phones, on the Android and, of course, on the Apple phones. Basically, you can get it in Google Play and in the App Store. It's very easy to do, and it gives you all the latest breaking news. It's just a fingertip away. Not only in Scotland, English, European and world football is there for you. And of course, you can watch the programme at your leisure. If you miss it at 4 o'clock live, then you can watch it at your leisure as well. And of course, as well as that, we bring you the managers and the players' interviews. And next year, bigger and better. So hopefully you're going to stick with us. We're really delighted. We enjoy Ruffy. We enjoy the banter. Some people, obviously, that we've mentioned, maybe don't know how to obviously conduct themselves and put across a point the right way. But I think the majority of people who follow PLZ Soccer are fans who love their team.
Yeah, they certainly are. You know, and it's great to see the response. It's great to see, you know, the feeling that they have about their clubs, and quite rightly so. You just have to go along to football games at the weekend and see how passionate they are about supporting their clubs and their clubs doing well. But obviously there are times when they don't agree with some of our opinion. Well, mostly yours, not mine.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think to highlight that point, Kevin McFarlane says... Yeah, well, I was going to say, Kevin McFarlane says, I'm looking forward to Peter having more digs at Porteous in 2022. Listen, you call it as you see it. I'm a big fan of Porteous. I think he's got tremendous potential. I think a big club will come in and buy him, but he just needs to, as they say in the west of Scotland, screw the nut, Ruffy. And I think a lot of people are waiting to see if he's going to mature and just talk about, you know, the good defending, the goals, you know, the passing out of defence is unbelievable for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's why there was a bid for him in the last window. I mean, somebody down south has saw something that they want to have a bit of. You know, but obviously these wee misdemeanours, you know, can sometimes go against you. I hope it wouldn't, because I think he's a fabulous player as well. And if he keeps maturing, I think he's only 23. We keep saying we need centre-halves, so he's one on the list.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, well done to James Lindsay from Wishaw. As a big Rangers fan, he entered our competition. It was fairly straightforward. Like, share, follow, subscribe, and basically post a little message on our Facebook page as well. And you were in the hat to try and win an Xbox Series S. James Lindsay from Wishaw is the winner of that. Congratulations to you. What can you get on PLZ Soccer over the festive period? Well, there's a one-to-one with Gordon Strachan we released. Great to hear Gordon just reflecting on his time as a player and manager. Some funny stories, some emotional chat with him as well, and over and above that, I think a great insight from a great football man. It really was great to listen to him. It's been a remarkable career for him, Ruffy. Well worth a watch.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Obviously, most of my contact with Gordon was with the Scotland squad, and another person who has got a double identity. If you see him personally, he's not the player. He's not the person you see in a manager's suit or in a press conference. He is a largely funny guy, funny guy. Likes a good laugh, and it'd be interesting if you see that interview. You'll see the other side of him.
Yeah, absolutely, first class. Absolutely, think he's top drawer, Gordon Strachan, as a man personally, and his professional career as well. I've got a lot of time for Gordon, and it really is well worth getting onto PLZ Soccer YouTube if you don't want to watch Home Alone then, do something different. Get on PLZ Soccer's YouTube channel and get yourself into the one-to-one. Of course, we are releasing every day, Ruffy, our panel's dream teams. It's my turn today on the Liverpool dream team. I've picked a strong 4-3-3. I'm absolutely delighted with it. I'm not going to budge. I cannot wait to see your dream team, which is the best 11 players you've played with, because there are some humdingers in there, and don't give too much away.
No, it certainly is. That I played with a lot of good players down through my career, and a lot of the people I've picked, will remember them very fondly. One in particular, and one who might be a big surprise to quite a lot of people.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, it's been an unbelievable year, Ruffy. We're about to thank everybody. Thank you to everyone for watching Peter and Ruffy's football show. We'll be back in the new year, of course, with a few surprises for you as well. The Predictor will continue, and hopefully lots of special guests, lots of other things that we're building, not only on the football show, but over and above that with our app and our website. If you get onto www.plzsoccer.com, it's there on your laptop, and if you download the app, you get all the breaking news as well. So thank you to each and every one of you for supporting us. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. That's the most important thing. I hope you're safe and healthy as well. And fingers crossed you have a fantastic 2022. Ruffy, would you like to add anything as the partner in this football show?
No, I would just like to say everything you've said. Thanks to everybody who's taken the time off to tune in at 4 o'clock every day. We've got a lot of people who do it regularly. I hope we have given you some enjoyment through the last 14, 15 months. And again, I'd like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And just to think about Partick Thistle driving up to Inverness on Boxing Day.
Brilliant. I knew it was all going to be about you. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, well, listen, from that point, I can't say it any better than that. Have a great Christmas. We'll bring you more competitions. We'll bring you lots more content in the new year. But from Peter and Ruffy, all we can say is Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year when it comes. Thank you for watching.